Hi everyone, welcome back. Thanks for joining us today. We've got a brand new story to share with you, so let's begin. My name is Daniel, and for a long time, I thought I had the perfect love story. I believed I had found the woman I would spend the rest of my life with, Vanessa. I saw her as not only my girlfriend, but my future. From the moment we met, I felt like everything was falling into place. We met at the wedding of a mutual friend. I was there for the groom. She was there for the bride. One moment, I was enjoying the wedding, and the next, I was caught up in a conversation with the most beautiful woman in the room. By the end of the night, we had exchanged contacts, and that was the beginning of everything. At first, things were casual. A few texts here and there. Then, it became an everyday thing. Morning texts, late-night calls, little check-ins throughout the day. Before I knew it, Vanessa had become a part of my daily routine. It felt natural, easy. And then came the moment when I finally asked her to be my girlfriend. I remember how she played around, made me wait, acted like she wasn't sure. At the time, I thought she was just being cautious, maybe taking the decision seriously. I saw that hesitation as maturity, as thoughtfulness. Looking back now, I wonder if I should have seen it for what it really was. But back then, I didn't question anything. I gave her everything. My time, my love, my support. If she needed me, I was there. If she had a problem, I did everything I could to fix it. If she wanted something, I made sure she got it. I introduced her to my family, and they accepted her without question. My parents treated her like a daughter. My siblings loved her. She was welcome in my home anytime. It wasn't just my family either. I got close to hers too. I didn't just love Vanessa. I cared about the people she cared about. If her parents needed help, I was there. If her siblings needed anything, I made sure they got it. I wasn't just dating her. I was investing in her, in us, in our future. In my mind, it was only a matter of time before I got down on one knee and made it official. From the very beginning, my friends weren't exactly fans of Vanessa. They never said it outright at first, but I could tell they had doubts. It wasn't just one or two of them. It was all of them. They thought she was too wild, too unpredictable, and, in their words, too much woman for someone like me. See, I'm the quiet, steady type. But Vanessa? She was loud, full of energy, and always the center of attention. My friends didn't trust that. They said she was the kind of woman who needed chaos to stay interested, and I wasn't built for chaos. They didn't hold back on their warnings either. She's using you, they'd say, shaking their heads. You're acting like a fool for her. Every time we hung out, someone found a way to bring her up, and it was never in a good way. They'd tell me I was blind, that I was letting her wrap me around her little finger. But I didn't listen. I'd just smile and tell them they were wrong. You don't know her like I do, I'd say, brushing off their concerns. I convinced myself that they were just being protective, that maybe they didn't like seeing me so invested in someone. To me, Vanessa wasn't what they thought she was. I believed she was different. She wasn't some selfish, manipulative woman out to take advantage of me. She was the best thing that had ever happened to me. Life doesn't always hand out good things, but when it does, you have to hold on to them, right? That's what I told myself. That's what I told my friends. I believed in love, and I believed in her. Aside from my friends, another person that tried to talk sense into me was Stephanie. Stephanie and I had become friends over the course of my relationship with Vanessa. At first, she was just Vanessa's friend, but as time passed, we got along well. She was easy to talk to, never one to sugarcoat things, and had a bluntness that made her feel trustworthy. That's why I didn't expect what she said next. She hesitated for a moment before she told me Vanessa had been cheating on me. Not a one-time mistake. Not a moment of weakness. No. It had been happening for a long time. She told me she had confronted Vanessa multiple times, urging her to stop, but Vanessa didn't care. If anything, she had only gotten bolder with it. Stephanie said she couldn't keep quiet anymore. She thought I deserved to know. I stared at her. Cheating? Vanessa? It didn't make sense. We were good. I took care of her, loved her, made sure she never lacked anything. I introduced her to my family, and they adored her. I was even close to her family, helping them whenever they needed something. Vanessa had no reason to betray me. No reason at all. I let out a small laugh, shaking my head. This is a joke, right? I asked, expecting her to break character and tell me it was just a stupid test to see if I trusted Vanessa. But she didn't laugh. She didn't take it back. Instead, she sighed and told me she wouldn't have said anything if she wasn't sure. Still, I refused to believe it. This had to be some kind of misunderstanding. My mind searched for any explanation that made more sense than the idea that Vanessa, the woman I was planning to marry, was sneaking around behind my back. One evening, I had just gotten home from work, exhausted from the long day. My office had been a mess, and by the time I walked through my front door, all I wanted was to eat, shower, and maybe watch something mindless until I passed out. But before I could even take off my shoes, my phone rang. It was Stephanie. Again. I stared at the screen, debating whether to pick up. The second I picked up, Stephanie's voice came through sounding urgent. Daniel, if you don't believe what I told you the other day, go to Vanessa's house right now. Don't tell her you're coming. Just go. I sat down, rubbing my forehead. Stephanie, I'm tired. What exactly are you trying to? Just go. Her tone was sharp, almost desperate. I'm not playing with you. If you trust me even a little, just do it. She was serious. But still, a part of me resisted. What if I showed up and Vanessa was just home alone, minding her business? What if I looked like an idiot for doubting her? Worse, what if Vanessa found out Stephanie was feeding me these ideas and got angry at me for listening? But another thought crept in, one I couldn't shake. What if Stephanie was right? I took a deep breath, pushing off the couch. Fine. I'd go. Not because I believed Stephanie, but because I needed to prove her wrong. That way, I could finally put all this to rest and tell her to stop interfering in my relationship. I changed out of my work clothes, throwing on something more comfortable, reached for my keys, and stepped out of my apartment, locking the door behind me. I pulled up to Vanessa's apartment and parked outside. I stepped out of the car and walked up to her door. Locked. Of course. But I had a spare key, because I was her man, right? Sliding the key into the lock, I hesitated, but pushed the door open and stepped inside quietly. I closed the door behind me and walked through the living room. Everything looked the same. Then my eyes spotted something. A man's shirt crumpled on the floor, a pair of jeans tossed on the couch, and next to them, Vanessa's dress. My breathing got heavier. I reached into my pocket, pulled out my phone, and hit record. If this was what I thought it was, I needed proof. Vanessa was tangled in the sheets, her bare back exposed. Straddling her was a man, tall, rough-looking, bigger than me. His hands gripping her waist, her arms wrapped around his neck. They were so lost in their own world that they didn't even notice me. I should have yelled, but all I did was record. I stood there, watching, feeling numb. When I had enough, I stopped recording and put my phone away, then cleared my throat. The reaction was instant. Vanessa gasped, scrambling for the sheets, her eyes wide with horror. The man turned his head slowly, his expression blank. He didn't look guilty. He was just surprised that he didn't notice someone there. I was speechless, but when I found my voice, I asked one question. Why? Vanessa hesitated. Her lips parted like she was going to lie. But then, something changed. She lifted her chin, her voice steady. I'm sorry, Daniel, but I needed a real man. You're good, but too soft. I felt those words deeply. Still, I didn't react. Just smiled. I turned away, walked over to her purse, and reached inside. My spare key to the home. I took it back, and without another word, I walked out. I thought I'd get comfort from my friends, but the moment I told them what I had just witnessed, they didn't even hesitate. They burst into laughter like I had just cracked the funniest joke of the year. I just sat there, staring at them, waiting for the laughter to die down, for someone to say, "Damn, man, that's messed up. You didn't deserve that." But that never came. Instead, one of them slapped my shoulder, still chuckling. "She's right, bro. You were a fool for her." Another one nodded, smirking. "You made her your queen, and she wanted a king, not a servant." I blinked, trying to process what I was hearing. They weren't comforting me. They were agreeing with her, telling me that, yeah, I had been cheated on, but that it was my fault. that I deserve it. They were right. They warned me, but I was chasing a dream. I couldn't blame them for being harsh. I didn't even argue. What was the point? Eventually, I got up and left. I went home, locked my door, and grabbed the first bottle I could find. At first, I just wanted to take the edge off. Just a few sips to numb the thoughts running through my head. But one sip turned into two. Two turned into five. Before I knew it, I was sitting there, bottle in hand, drowning in a sea of alcohol and self-loathing. With every drink, anger set in. If she wanted to play dirty, I'd show her just how it felt to be exposed. I grabbed my phone, the screen lighting up with unread messages, but I wasn't interested in them. I scrolled to my gallery, and without second-guessing, I went into every group chat we were both in. I uploaded the video. Then, I typed a message. Be careful who you give your heart to. Some people will break your back and still tell you you're not enough. I hit send. Almost instantly, my phone started vibrating. First, one notification. Then, another. And then a flood, calls, texts, voice notes, all coming in at once. Names I recognized, people I hadn't spoken to in months, even some of Vanessa's closest friends. They were all seeing it. I let it all ring out. I wasn't interested in what they had to say. The job was done. I took one last swig, letting the liquor burn its way down, and set the bottle down beside me. My head felt heavier now, my body sinking into the couch. The noise of my phone buzzing became background static, meaningless. My vision blurred, my breath slowed, and before I even realized it, everything went dark. The morning after felt strangely quiet. When I checked my phone, though, that was another story. 32 missed calls. Vanessa, her friends, a couple of mutual acquaintances. The messages kept rolling in, flooding my screen like they were trying to undo everything with sheer persistence. Some were furious. I was getting cussed out left and right, called every name in the book. Others took a different approach, trying to guilt-trip me. Be the bigger person, bro. You're better than this. Then there were the desperate ones, practically begging me to take the post down, as if the truth was only valid as long as it stayed in the dark. Vanessa's voice notes were the most pathetic. At first, she was livid. Daniel, you ruined my life over one incident. You're sick, that. But the longer she talked, the more the anger cracked. Desperation crept in. She cried. She pleaded. She blamed me. You're making it worse than it has to be. Worse for who, Vanessa? Then came the legal threats. Or at least an attempt at them. One of her friends tried to sound smart, calling it revenge porn. It wasn't. No nudity. No explicit images. Just cold, undeniable proof of what she did. Proof she never thought would see the light of day. If exposing the truth made me the villain, I was fine with that. I had been the fool for too long. So, I did the only thing left to do. Vanessa? Blocked. Her friends? Blocked. Anyone still trying to defend her? Blocked. I scrolled through the group chats one last time, watching the reactions unfold. Some people were shocked. Some acted like they always knew. Some laughed. And me? I just sat there, sipping my drink, feeling lighter than I had in years. So now, would you have done the same? I don't really care. But one thing's for sure, Vanessa, she's out of my life for good. And to those watching, to those who had something to say, whether you think I went too far or not far enough, let me know. Call me a simp. Call me petty. Call me whatever makes you feel better. I'm past the point of caring. And if you know someone who needs to see this, share it. Maybe they'll learn something before it's too late.